Thank you for taking the time to view this COMET tool training video. The COMET tools were developed at the Natural Resource Ecology Laboratory located at Colorado State University. The COMET tools were developed in collaboration and funding support from the Natural Resources Conservation Service and the Climate Change Program Office at the United States Department of Agriculture. My name is Matthew Sturmer. I am an agronomist and the Outreach and Education Specialist for the COMET tools. I will be guiding you through this video. This video focuses on the COMET-Farm Cropland module. I will walk you through using the demonstration project, which has been pre-populated with management scenarios. The demo project allows you to see what a completed project on COMET-Farm looks like. To access the COMET-Farm tool, you can go to www.comet-farm.com. So we'll go ahead and just walk through navigating through the COMET-Farm tool. When you first enter COMET-Farm, you'll be greeted by our Welcome to COMET-Farm screen. At the top of this screen, we have a link to our training schedule. We also have a link to the USDA methods document found here in greenhouse gas emissions. Clicking on that will take you to the electronic copy of the methods document. I'd recommend those that are going to be using the COMET-Farm tool to have access to this methods document. It does provide information on how the methods were developed for COMET-Farm. Again, COMET-Farm is the practical application of the USDA methods document. We'll go ahead and head back to the COMET-Farm homepage. The other information that you'll find within the greetings page is just current updates and new features that have been added to COMET-Farm. I encourage those that have just started using the COMET-Farm tool to read through these to get an idea of what the COMET-Farm tool can do for them and the new features. I'll go ahead and close that window. While using the COMET-Farm tool, we encourage you to use the navigation buttons that are provided within COMET-Farm. These navigation buttons can be found at the top right. They also will be found throughout the tool when entering in practice information. They will be these orange and white, they turn blue when you hover over them, buttons throughout the tool. When you use the navigation buttons provided by the web browser, it can lead to data loss, so refrain from using them. There really is not any reason that you would need to use them because the navigation buttons that are provided within the tool will take you where you need to go. So I'll go ahead and walk through the functions of the navigation buttons, what information you can find. Currently we're located on the home page. I'll click on the Tools tab and this will take us to the Sign-In page. New users, I encourage you to register an account. You can do so by clicking on the Register tab just located at the top right of the Sign-In box. Creating an account is very simple. There's 6 steps to do that. You'll receive an email from app@nrel.colostate.edu that'll guide you through the remainder of creating that account. The benefits of creating an account within COMET-Farm is it allows you to save projects within the tool. Those can be accessed at any point from any computer that has an internet connection. There is the option to continue on without registration. Doing so allows you to complete projects, but they cannot be saved. Upon exiting the COMET-Farm tool, that information will be purged and lost. So I encourage you to create an account. Click on the Information tab. This will take you back to that greetings page where again you can find the link to our training schedule and the link to the greenhouse gas methods document by the USDA. Information that's found on the Help tab can be found at the bottom of the tab. You will find PDF tutorials. These tutorials are designed to help navigate through the tool at your own pace. So we will be covering the bulk of the tutorials today in this training. And I encourage those of you that may want to have other folks learn how to use the tool and they can't attend a training, they can download these tutorials and work step by step through each portion of the COMET-Farm tool so that they can understand how to use it. For those of you that are using Internet Explorer, we encourage you to use the most updated version of Internet Explorer. Older versions of Internet Explorer do have known issues with COMET-Farm, so to avoid having problems, just make sure that you're using the most updated version. Today's training will be done in Firefox. COMET-Farm works great in Firefox. It works wonderful in Internet Explorer 11 and also works very well in Google Chrome. In the center of the help page, you'll find a link to our brochure. The brochure is a one-page explanation of the COMET-Farm and the COMET Planner tool. These are great documents to provide to landowners or land managers. They give a brief overview of what the COMET-Farm tool can do for them in relation to reducing greenhouse gas and increasing carbon sequestration. You'll also find a link to our training schedule just below the brochures tab. While using the COMET-Farm tool, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feedback on the tool, maybe need help working through the tool, please send those to app.nrel@colostate.edu, and we can help you with the requests that you may have. Go ahead and return back to the home page. At the bottom of the COMET-Farm homepage, you'll find frequently asked questions. Information safety is very important to us, so we do follow the NRCS's PII. For more information on that policy, click on the privacy policy link located in Is My Information Safe? We would like to thank the NRCS, the USDA for their financial support. Without them, COMET-Farm would not be available to the public for free. We also want to thank Colorado State University for their support as well. And for those of you that have accounts on social media, we have a Facebook, Google+, and Twitter account. So follow us, tweet at us. We do like to announce upcoming training events, new features that have been added to the tool, along with finding out what's going on in your area as well. So these are a good way to keep up to date with improvements within COMET-Farm. So now we'll go ahead and work through a demonstration project. You can access the COMET-Farm tool by clicking on the Tools tab, clicking on Sign In located at the top right, or click on the Start Using COMET-Farm tab in the center of the page. Go ahead and click Start Using COMET-Farm. This will take us directly to the Sign In page. Here you'll enter in your username or your email that you registered your account with. Click Sign In. The first step in COMET-Farm is the Activities page. On the left, we have a list of all of the existing projects associated with our account. As you build and begin projects, they'll be added to your projects list. In the center of the Activities page, we have the list of the categories that you can use to evaluate a site. You can select any combination of those categories or select all the categories for full accounting. While using COMET-Farm, you'll find these blue question marks throughout the COMET-Farm tool. When you click on those, they just provide further insight into information that may be necessary for that management practice. So while working through the tool, if there is a point where you need further clarification on what information is needed, look for the blue question mark and click on it. That should help you work through that option. So we're going to go ahead and walk through a demonstration project. We're going to work through the Croplands demonstration project. To access any of the demo projects, you can click on Create Demo Project, just located to the right of Select a Project in the projects list. The demonstration project were created so that users have the ability to walk through a completed project within COMET-Farm to see the necessary inputs. After clicking on Create Demo Project, the New Projects box will open, and you can select a demonstration project from our 3 categories. We'll go ahead and continue on with the Cropland, Pasture, and Range. I'll click Create. At this point, the COMET-Farm tool is populating all of the management options that are necessary for that demonstration project. You can see that Cropland's demo project was added to our projects list, and the Cropland, Pasture, and Range category was selected. I'll now click Define Activities to move into our management practices. While using the demonstration projects, there will be these blue help boxes that will pop up. These help boxes just define information for that particular management section of the tool. For this demonstration project, we've selected the Alley Demonstration Farm, operated by Iowa State. For more information on that site, you can click on the blue link. Go ahead and click OK. So site-specific information is very important within COMET-Farm. Within the parcel locations management options for COMET-Farm, this is where you're going to define that site-specific location. Here you'll define each individual field within an operation. When you first enter COMET-Farm, you'll get a screen that's going to look more like this, where it has the parcel locations. Where's the parcel located? You can either enter in the address, the coordinates, landmark, township, zip code, whatever, and then click Go to Location. That'll take you directly to that site. Otherwise, you can click No Thanks, I'll navigate myself, and then you can zoom in and zoom out, or double click on the location map, and that will take you in and out just like you would with Google Maps. Then you'll define your parcels. Parcels can be added by point. This feature is used to enter in pivots or circles. You simply click the center of the circle or the pivot, enter in the name and the acreage. The tool then determines the radius based on that input. Parcels that are added by polygon, as the one that we have here, you simply click the corners and your boundaries to draw the parcels. Parcels that were added by a point can be modified. You can change the name, the area, and the position of parcels added by a point. Parcels that were added by a polygon, you can modify them, but you can only modify the name of that parcel. To change the location, the size of the parcel, you would have to click Delete Parcel and then redraw those boundaries. You can delete all parcels off of your map if you'd like to start over by clicking the Delete All Parcels button in the Parcel Locations toolbar on the left. I'm going to move up to our Soil Layers option and click Soils, located at the top right of the map. This overlays the soil map for that location. You can view soil information by clicking on View Soil by Click, and click anywhere in the map to get the attributes of that soil. You also have the ability to export soil information into an Excel spreadsheet. Doing so will export all of the soil attributes within the boundary that you've selected for your parcel. As you select more parcels, that Excel spreadsheet will have each individual parcel with each individual soil attribute associated with it. At the bottom of the Parcel Locations toolbar, we have a few help items defining what a parcel by point is, what a parcel by polygon is. We also have a link to how do I add a parcel by polygon. This is a quick video on how to create a parcel location. Very simple after you do it once. It doesn't take very much to do it again. Go ahead and close that video. So for the demonstration project, we only have one field to keep it very simple, but here you would enter in and select all of the fields for each individual project that you would be selecting. So I'm going to go ahead and click I am done defining parcels because we're only going to be looking at the one parcel here. Again, we have another blue help box just to kind of giving us an insight into the importance of historic management. Go ahead and close that. When defining and selecting information within COMET-Farm, it's important to select the most representative options for that site so that the report that's generated is as accurate as possible. You'll need to enter in historic management for all parcels. You'll start with entering the pre-1980 management. You can select that from the drop-down menu. Here we've selected upland non-irrigated pre-1980s. You can select if that land or that field was in CRP before the year 2000. You'll then need to select the 1980 to 2000 management. We've selected non-irrigated corn, soybean, and then select the tillage from 1980 to 2000, and we've selected intensively tilled. After you've entered in historic management for all your parcels, you then can click Next to advance into the current management option. Here we're defining the scenario that we're using. For this site, the 60-acre field located in Iowa, we are going to be using a grain corn soybean rotation. Grain corn was intensively tilled with 160 pounds of anhydrous ammonia applied at time of planting. There was not any manure applied, no irrigation was applied, there was not any liming or burning performed for the grain corn. For the soybeans, we're looking at a reduced till system with no fertilizer, no irrigation, no manure or organic matter additions, no liming or burning was performed. So as you can see, we have a few location indicators that are located at the top of the COMET-Farm tool. We started out with step 1, which was activities. Step 2 is our field management, and step 3 is reports. For the bulk of the project, you will be in field management. Within field management, we've already selected all of our parcel locations. We've entered in and selected our historic management. Now we'll be working through the current management from the year 2000 to present. Just below the current management, you'll see the management practices that we will be inputting information in for, starting with crop and planting date and finishing with burning. On the far left, we have a list of our parcels from this drop-down. As you enter in more parcels, this list will grow. Those parcels will be listed alphabetically. You can also select parcels directly from the map. Just below the map, you'll see the years of management, starting with 2000 and concluding with the most recently completed crop year. So we'll go ahead and walk through the management options that we've selected for our cropland demonstration. So to begin, you enter in the type of crop. You can select between cash crop or cover crop. You then will select the type of crop from the drop-down menu. At this point, we are continuously updating the types of crops that are available. If the crop that you are looking for is not in the list, please notify us. We can let you know where we're at with adding those crops into the list. This list is evolving continuously, so please let us know if there is a particular crop that you see a lot of use. We would like to enter that in. Then you'll select the planting date from the calendar. Within the harvest table, you'll enter in all the harvest events that occur with that crop. To add a harvest event, simply click Add New Harvest. That'll add an event to the table. Here you'll select the harvest date from the calendar. Next to harvest date is the column Grain. This section is if there is an event occurring that there is a removal of some portion of the crop. It's very intuitive with corn and soybeans. We're clearly harvesting a grain with this rotation. You'd also want to have the box selected when growing processing tomatoes, or if you're harvesting a forage, alfalfa or grass or hay. You then will enter in the yield, and then on the far right we have straw stover and hay removal. Here you would input any additional crop residue that is removed in addition to a grain harvest. So for instance, if we're going back in and baling our corn stalks, you would then select the portion that are removed to then advance on. Anytime you'd like to delete an event within COMET-Farm, you can click on the red X and that'll delete that event. So we only have our one harvest event. I'll go ahead and click Next to move into our tillage table. Here you can add in as many tillage practices that apply to that crop year. By clicking on Add New Tillage Practice, you then select the date the tillage was applied, and then the tillage type from the drop-down menu. I know that we only have one tillage event here. In an intensively tilled system, there would be multiple events, but to keep the demonstration project very simple, we only have the one intensively till event that occurs just before planting. Click Next to move on to the nitrogen application table. When adding a new nitrogen application practice, you select the date applied, select the fertilizer type from the drop-down menu, enter in the amount applied, pounds nitrogen per acre, the application method from the drop-down. We also have the option for those of you that are using enhanced efficiency products, nitrification inhibitors, or slow-release fertilizers to select that feature from the drop-down menu. Go ahead and select None since we are not using an enhanced efficiency product. Click Next to move on to our manure application table. Adding manure to a field is the same process as nitrogen application. You add a new event, select the date that it was applied, select the manure type from the drop-down menu, enter in the amount per application in tons dry matter per acre. And then to the right we have percent nitrogen and carbon to nitrogen ratio. These values were intended to be entered in based on lab analysis. It's very important again in COMET-Farm when entering in information that most accurately represents practices that are occurring on that site to do so. If lab analysis are not available for that particular year or manure type, you can use the default values that are generated by COMET-Farm. Just so that you do know, we do encourage you using lab analysis for percent nitrogen and carbon to nitrogen ratio. I'll go ahead and delete this event since we did not apply manure. I'll click Next to move into our irrigation application table. Here you add in any irrigation event. You select the date irrigation was applied and enter in the inches per application. Here we do encourage those that have multiple irrigation events that occur over a 1 week period to total all events, enter them into the inches per application, and then select the first day of that week. This will help reduce the amount of data input and also will not have an impact on your results. If there's only one irrigation event occurring in a week and it's in the middle of the week, you can enter in that value for that date. Go ahead and delete that since we're not irrigating this location, and I'll click Next to continue on to our liming practices. Liming practices are selected by first selecting the liming material, selecting the date that liming occurred, and then entering in the amount applied in tons per acre. We did not apply lime here, so I'll go ahead and select none, click Next. And the final management practice that we'll enter in is the options for crop residue burning. The options are no burning, yes before planting, or yes after harvesting. I'm going to select no burning since we did not burn at this location. And now I'll click Next. Clicking Next generates the Add Additional Crops box. This allows you to add in additional crops for the same year. This would be used if you're multi-cropping or you have a cover crop growing. You'd also use this option if you have a crop that spans a calendar year, for instance winter wheat. If that's the case, you would select yes, add additional crop for the same year, follow the same inputs within the management that we just completed. You can add up to 3 additional crops per crop year. I'm going to click no thanks and continue since we did not have any additional crops for that year. Here is the copy crop feature. This allows you to copy crop information that has just been completed over other parcels and over other years. The green check mark indicates the information that will be copied. Selecting a crop year indicates the years that you will copy information for. The red boxes indicate that those years already have information which was pre-populated with this demonstration project. When you first enter into COMET-Farm, these boxes will not have red outlines, so clicking inside the box and then clicking copy and continue would copy the management that we just completed for our grain corn over the years that we have grain corn in rotation. I'll go ahead and uncheck these boxes since we already have information entered. I'll click no thanks. We've completed our current management, so we have the option to going back and keep editing that, just verifying that we've input our information correctly, or continue to future management. I'm going to click continue to future management. So here's the conservation scenario portion of COMET-Farm. This is the key feature that allows you to look at what if changes in management are applied, how is that going to impact greenhouse gas or carbon sequestration. For the demonstration project, we have kept our management practices the exact same, except for now we're moving to a no-till system for both the grain corn and the soybeans. So I'll go ahead and click OK. As you can see, the management options look very similar to the current management options. I will point out on the left, just above the parcel map, we now have a selected scenarios list. As you input scenarios, that list will grow. You can have up to 10 different scenarios that you can use to evaluate management changes. You still have the drop-down menu that lists all of the parcels, and you can still select a parcel directly from the map. Now our projected management for future is going to be 10 years out. So for the demonstration, we're looking from 2015 out to 2024. We still have the same options for management inputs. You still can select cash crop, cover crop. You select your crop type. You can see our planting date is the same. Harvest date and yield, projected yield, are the same as well as they were in the current management. I'll go ahead and click next. Here's our change in management. We moved from that intensive till event to a no-till event. So we simply just change the tillage type here and click next. Our nitrogen application has stayed the exact same as it was in the baseline scenario. We're not adding any manure. There is no irrigation applied. We're not liming. And we did not perform any burning. Here we again have the option to add in additional crops. You could use this, for instance, to evaluate the benefits of adding a cover crop to a rotation, or maybe look at adding the ability, if you do have the region, to multi-crop. You could look at the benefits of doing that as well. Here we'll click no thanks and continue. The same functionality for the copy crop feature that we had in current management is available here. You can copy over any completed information that we just finished with our grain corn to any crop year and any parcel. We'll go ahead and click no thanks because we have our red boxes indicating that those crop years already have completed data. Upon completing a future scenario, you have the ability to add additional future scenarios. Like I said, you have the option to add up to 10 scenarios that you can evaluate within one project. To save time, users can click on Copy Management Information From, and then click Select a Scenario from the drop-down list. You can click on any completed management practices that have already been input into the tool. So you, for instance, can click on Baseline. This will copy over all of the management information from our current management. So that was the intensively tilled grain corn, reduced tilled soybeans. Now you want to evaluate maybe an improved end management plan. Name the project and then click Create New Scenario. That'll allow you to go back into the nitrogen table, change your management practices that you'd like to evaluate, and then you've completed another scenario. This really does cut down on the amount of time that you have to input data. It allows you to copy multiple scenarios and combine multiple scenarios as well. If you click Keep Editing, that'll return back to the future management that you just completed. I'm going to click on Continue to Report so we can take a look at a completed report. At this point in time, you can navigate away from the COMET-Farm homepage. You can close the window. Your information has been sent to the server and is now being processed. This step should take roughly anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how large of a project you have. If at any point it does hang up on a certain step, please let us know so that we can go in and verify that can be fixed. Those errors are far and few between, but we still like to know if there is an issue. So we'll walk through looking and reading a COMET-Farm report. There are two ways to look at COMET-Farm reports. The first is this tabular version that you see here. The second is a graphical report. We'll cover that here in just a second. On the far left of the tabular report, you have the source. This is indicated for each parcel. So F1 was our field, 60-acre corn soybeans. Just below that, we have the source categories. We report carbon, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, and methane. All values are reported in ton CO2 equivalents per year. If you double click on a source category, so I'll go ahead and click on our carbon, It expands out and you can see the subsource categories associated with that value. We also have these calculators that are located to the right of some of the subsource categories. You can then use the USDA methods document, look for equation 325, and you can see exactly what necessary inputs were needed to generate that value, for instance, for greenhouse gas emissions from biomass burning. Again, the COMET-Farm tool is the practical application of the USDA methods document. I'll go ahead and minimize our carbon value, and then we'll look at the baseline emissions. Baseline emissions are reported in the center. As you can see, for each source category, there's a value. Values in COMET-Farm are either reported as a negative value or a positive value. Negative values are in green, indicating that there was a reduction in emission or a sequestration event that occurred. Values that are positive and in red indicate that there was an increase in emissions. So as you can see here, our baseline emissions for our soil carbon was negative 9.7 ton CO2 equivalents per year. Implementing our no-till system, our emissions are reported on the left of our future scenario, and then on the right we have the changes in emissions. So as you can see, moving to that no-till system, we actually saw a 31.7 ton CO2 equivalents of increased carbon in the soil due to the no-till practice. We also see a reduction in nitrous oxide emissions as well. For each parcel, values will be totaled at the bottom. For all parcels for an entire project, those values are totaled at the bottom of the table. The graphical report can be accessed by clicking on Cropland Graphical Report. You then will select the parcel name. This graph is interactive. Again, we're going to be comparing the baseline to the future scenarios. As future scenarios are added, they will be populated to the right. Here you can click on a specific emission. So we'll look at our carbon. Clicking on that then shows exactly where the source of that is located. This information can be downloaded by clicking on the three bars located at the top right of the graph. You can download those in any image format that would best suit your needs. Go back to the tabular page. This information can also be printed or exported into an Excel spreadsheet by clicking on Export Crop Management Data. So I would like to highlight the greenhouse gas equivalency calculator provided by the EPA. We have a link to that just to the right of Export Crop Management Data. Remember our value of 35.8 ton CO2 equivalents. That's our overall benefit from implementing a no-till system. We can take that value, click on the greenhouse gas equivalency calculator, move into the EPA's website. They're currently doing some improvements, so we'll have to wait for the calculator to come up. Click on the greenhouse gas equivalency calculator. You can take the value directly from COMET-Farm that was reported and click on if you have emissions data, and then enter that value into the table. So we'll enter 35.8, then we can click calculate. This is a real good way to show to someone that may not have a complete understanding of what a ton of CO2 equivalence is per year. They can visually see and understand that that is the emissions from 7.5 passenger vehicles, or the emissions from burning certain fossil fuels or other fuels. We can also look at this in terms of tree seedlings and areas of forest. So this is a real good way to kind of show to a user not only the benefit of reducing greenhouse gas, but what does that mean in terms of emissions from a vehicle. So that concludes the Cropland demonstration within COMET-Farm. I'm going to go ahead and return back to the COMET-Farm homepage, and I'll show you one other quick thing. So you've entered in, for instance, say you've entered in a project and you want to show it to a land manager or landowner, and you have done it maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a year ago. You can simply just return back to COMET-Farm, click the sign in, enter in your username and your password. Sometimes when you're using COMET-Farm and you navigate away and come back real fast, it'll ask you to sign in. Always look to the top right. If your name and the current project is listed, just click on that current project. It'll take you directly to the projects list. Here you can select any of your projects from your list. So we'll click on Cropland demo project and click Define Activities. Now at this point, instead of clicking through all of the management options, you can click directly on step 3, and this will take you to the completed reports page so that you can print this, share this with whomever you'd like. So it really does give you a quick run to the reports page so you don't have to click through all those management options. Alright, so that concludes today's training with COMET-Farm and the Cropland module. While you're using the COMET-Farm tool, you do run into any problems or have questions, comments, please send those to app.nrel@colostate.edu and we can help address those as quickly as possible. So again, thank you for attending today's training. Again, if there's anything that we can do, please let us know, and I look forward to seeing the rest of you or others on future training.